Hey everyone, welcome to Love to Create by Tanya. Today I'm going to be working on these charming little farmhouse style deer, and you're going to be able to take these Christmas DIYs right straight through into your winter decor. Now let's go ahead and get started with the first DIY. These little deer ornaments I picked up at Dollar General, and I'm just going to take them apart and I'm going to save that little rope twine and the bell because we're going to put that on after we paint these white. The first thing I'm going to do is take some of the nail putty and just cover in those holes a little bit so they won't show through after I paint them. And I applied a heavy coat of the white chalk paint to the front and back of these. Now after they dried really well, I went ahead and put the little rope twine and the rusty bell back on the front. Now I'm going to repurpose this little Halloween sign. And this worked out really well because I wanted to make the deer look like they were in a cluster like you would see them in the woods. And I really love how this turned out. You'll have to let me know in the comments below because I think all of us have one of these little signs that we've picked up at some point. But I just decided to glue a couple of these on the front and I turned them kind of different directions. And then because they're so lightweight, I was able to glue them right on the top of the sign just by their feet, and I just added a little extra glue on the back side of them. Now I'm just going to take a couple of the little bottlebrush trees and just pop in there beside a couple of them. And I think it looked so nice. It just made them look like they were out in the forest. And you can probably see why now we can take this one right straight into our winter decor. And then here in a moment you'll see I'm just going to add a few of those little pine cones around at the bottom of their feet. And I want to keep this design pretty simple just because I do want to take it right into the winter decor, which I'll be doing a lot of that because that's one of my favorites. Well, everyone, this one's pretty much done, and you'll have to let me know what you think of this one in the comments below. Now, the next DIY we're going to be working on is the statue deer. And you've probably seen these. They have them everywhere, Kirkland's and Home Goods, different places. But I decided to try to make them with mostly Dollar Tree items. And I'm going to be using the dowel rods. Now those little wood pieces I did pick up at Michael's. And you could just use one of those plungers if you needed to and cut it up to make the body part. Now the first thing I'm going to do is measure out how long I want the legs to be. And I'm just going to be cutting those straight across and just sanding them down a little bit. Now before I end up applying them to the actual body part, I'm going to cut them at just a slight angle, and you'll see why in a minute. It's going to help them just kind of lay sideways, and that way they'll be able to stand up a lot easier. But that little angle will help it to be glued on. Now I did just hot glue these. You could use the wood glue, but the hot glue seemed to hold really well. And I am going to be painting these black, so that kind of hides everything that I put on there as far as the glue. Now you could actually take your drill and just drill a hole into the main body part, and you'd be able to slide your dowel rod right up through there, but I just wanted to see how this design come out, so I thought I'd just hot glue it together, and I may actually even put some together using the drill and the dowel rods that way. Now these little wood pieces I actually picked up at Michael's, and there's several different shapes in there, and they're really fun little pieces when you want to make little animals like this. Now I'm just using some of those little tumbling blocks, and basically I'm just trying to take what items I have and just shape it into this deer. Now those little pieces I'm putting around the face area there, I'll kind of trim them down with my scissors to give it more of the shape of the actual face of a deer. But one thing about it, when you're trying to put little designs together like this, basically just getting the actual body parts itself, and then once you paint it, from a distance, I mean, it really looks good because it's got all of the shapes that it needs to look like what you're trying to make it look like. And these are some more of the little sticks that I picked up at Michael's, and they're quite a bit bigger than a toothpick, which you could use toothpicks from Dollar Tree also, but I just cut them in little pieces and then just glued them different directions to make it look like the antlers. But this was a fun little design to try. I don't know about you guys, but that's the fun of it for me, crafting, just seeing what you can make something out of. So why not make a deer out of these little wood pieces? And like I said, I'm going to leave this one pretty simple. Also, I'm just going to tie a tiny little black and white ribbon around the neck area there. Well, everyone, you'll have to let me know what you think of our deer statue DIY. And we're pretty much going to call this one done. Now, I actually have it sitting with one of my little snowflake signs, and then I have the little warm winter wishes. And like I said, I'm just kind of taking this one right straight into some winter decor, but I'm going to have it setting out for my Christmas decor also. Now here's one of the signs that I had picked up at Dollar Tree. I think I had this one from last year. And I'm doing a really heavy coat of the white chalk paint mixed with the matte finish Mod Podge. And I really like how that covers. I mentioned this in another video that it covers over that glitter really well. And of course I'm doing that black and white theme on these because that's what I'm doing this year in my home. And you can see how well that one coat. And because it's so thick, if you're really careful how you drag it through in a straight line, it kind of gives the illusion of maybe like wood. Now I'm going to take some of that ink black chalk paint and I'm just going to paint one of these snowflakes. And I'll leave in the description below where I got all of my items that I use for these DIYs. Now I'm just going to take my black ink chalk paint and I decided to outline it all in black around the edges. Now we're going to go ahead and make our second sign, and I'm going to use these wood letters that I actually found these at Michael's. And I'm just going to spell out warm winter wishes, and I'm going to do the same technique. I'm going to mix that chalk paint and the Mod Podge together and paint the top of that sign white and then just apply the black letters. Well, everyone, you're going to have to let me know which one of these DIYs was your favorite, and leave me a comment below and let me know if you're going to try one of these. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I hope you do so, and I would love it if you give me a thumbs up for this video. That really helps YouTube notice my channel a little bit more. Well, I will see you next time.